Hello students, and welcome back to another video with Miss Rickard. Today we are going to be learning about landscapes and what is a landscape. So let's take the very first two pictures here as an example. We have two paintings, one by Thomas Cole and the other by Bob Ross. In the first painting we see a mountain, some hills covered in trees, a valley with some water, even some clouds in the sky. The next painting, although painted by someone else, is quite similar. Again, we see trees and clouds and water and grass. Both of these paintings show nature. A landscape shows natural scenery and land as the main subject in a work of art. But that doesn't always mean that because a picture has land in it, it's a landscape. Let's take a look and see if you can identify which art is the landscape. Here we go. We have two paintings here. The first one very famous by Vincent van Gogh, and the second by one of my favorite artists, Janet Fish. Both of them show nature. The first painting has trees and clouds and mountains and grass. And in the second painting, although it's harder to see, we also see some grass in the background. But which one is the landscape? If you picked the first one, you are correct. The second painting by Janet Fish shows a still life with objects and glass and plates and bowls. Although this painting was done outside and it does have plants and flowers in it, it's still an arrangement of objects. The first painting is our landscape, and the second is not. Let's try again. Which work of art is the landscape? The first painting by George Seurat is showing people spending an afternoon by a river. We see trees and grass and water. The second painting by Peter Paul Rubens shows a valley with mountains in the distance, trees to the side, and a rainbow through the sky. But which one is the landscape? They both have land in them. If you said the painting by Peter Paul Rubens, you are correct. This picture features land as the main idea and subject of the picture. The second painting is mostly about people spending an afternoon together by the river. It is not a landscape. Let's take another look. Take a look at these three paintings by William Mangum and see if you can figure out which one is the landscape. Here's the first one. Painting by the beach. We see sand, tall grass, a little bit of water and clouds. Okay, what's the next one look like? Okay, another beach picture. We see water, people standing on a pier. Looks like a bunch of people fishing. What's the third one? A very pretty painting of a house. Lots of flowers, trees, a flag blowing in the breeze. But which painting by William Mangum is the landscape? I'll give you a second to think about it. If you said that first painting of the beach, you would be correct. That is the only painting shown here that is about land. The second painting we looked at of the people on the pier fishing, well, it's about the people. And the last painting we looked at is about the house. It's not about the land behind it or around it. Now, time for some drawing practice. Step 1. Pause the video while you get some art supplies together. Go ahead. I'll give you some time to collect some things. Step 2. Follow along with me as I show you how to draw a landscape. Are you ready? Let's go. We're going to start by drawing a straight line down the middle of the paper for the horizon. After that, we're going to do like the tops of triangles for mountains. I'll go up into the sky and back down. There's no need to touch, but you can if you want to. Go up into the sky, go back down. Looks like the top of a triangle. Go up into the sky and back down. So I have 1, 2, 3 mountains here, and they're all kind of touching. I can take a bumpy line here for trees that are way far away, and I can draw them at the bottom of those mountains. Bumpy lines, just kind of wiggle them around a little bit for trees at the bottom of the mountain. I'm also going to want a long path. So I'm going to touch anywhere on that straight line, and I'm going to go down and away. Go back, touch in the same place. This time I'm going to go down and away, but it gets a little bit wider as I go down. This creates the illusion of three-dimensional space. We've got a nice little road here. Draw those little lines and then make it look like a road. Over here in the front, down at the bottom of the paper, we're going to be very close to these objects. Let's draw some flowers in here. Got a stem and some leaves, a circle in the middle, and just kind of hop around it for a flower. I can do another flower, a stem, some oval leaves, circle for the middle, and bounce around. Let's try a different kind of flower. There's a stem, some leaves. This time I'm going to do like the letter U and a zigzag on top. Let's do another one of those. Kind of looks like a tulip. Stem and leaves on the top of a flower is the U and then a zigzag. So we got some flowers. I'm also just going to add some extra grass over here. Just something for us to be looking at near the bottom of our paper, some grass. If you wanted to add another flower here, we could. I'm going to move into these empty parts of the paper. I'm going to come over to this side and I'm going to put some trees over here. Tree trunk, tree trunk, tree trunk, tree trunk, tree trunk, tree trunk. And on top of those, I'm just going to have a bumpy line that goes around them. Bumpy line, bumpy line, bumpy line, bumpy line around those. If you want to, you can add some pine trees in here. Pine trees would be done with straight lines, little tree trunk at the bottom. You could have some of those trees in there too. The way you decorate is totally up to you. I'm going to come over here to the other side, and I'm just going to draw a little hill, and this part has a lonely tree on top. A nice curved line, tree trunk, and this tree is going to be nice and wide. I'm going to give it some long branches in there. Just done with adding some straight lines, maybe some grass across the bottom. Okay, so we have in the foreground, we've got some flowers, middle ground, some more trees, background of a forest with mountains back here. You could add some texture to those mountains if you wanted to. You don't have to, but you could. I'm also going to add the sky next. I'm going to draw a sunset here where the sun is a curved line, maybe some lines for sunlight coming out. And the last detail I'm going to try and include is some clouds. There's some clouds just up there in the sky. There we go, some clouds. Of course, you could color this if you wanted to, but the idea is just to practice the drawing. And there you have it. We have a landscape.